welcome everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever time are you hearing to us, or even as this will be recorded, you can listen to us at any time. My name is Alejandro Naranjo. I will moderate this webinar regarding athletes, how to manage an athlete's career, both from contract aspect or sponsorship agreements. And most of all, thanks to ISDE for the opportunity to speak with such a very good friends. We're all the three of us graduates from ISDE, from different promotions, let's say, but the professional careers have brought us together, not only today, but on other days. So don't be fooled by the tie or by the jacket of Alex or mine. This will just be a casual conversation as we have in other times. The only difference from this moment is that it will be recorded and shared with all of you. So the idea is just to start already, because there are a lot of things to say. I will start making an introduction to our dear friend Alex. Then we will pass on to Marc. Alex, I will give you the floor in a moment to say to the people who you are, what do you do for a living. I will just say at first that you may probably have like the dream of a fan in an external point of view. Being a fan of Barcelona, working for the team is probably the greatest that you can achieve in the mountain of a career in sports. So I know for a fact that in some points of very stressful moments, or maybe not the most convenient hours, this is not such of a dream. But in any case, Alex Murillo, please introduce yourself and what do you do for a living? What do you do at Barcelona?
Hi, Alejandro. Hi everyone. Yeah, as you just said, well, I'm going to introduce myself really quickly. So yeah, as Alejandro said, I mean, I'm a guy from Barcelona. I'm working at FC Barcelona at on the sporting department. I'm just working alongside the sporting director in mostly contractual stuff. You know, I always say that I'm putting to the paper what the sporting director is thinking, more or less, and well, and all the things that he's trying to negotiate with the other part. That today will be Marc itself, working with the agency perspective. So yeah, just to finish, I started working at the F1 track here in Barcelona, the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, 4 years ago, and then I did my masters in ISDE, my master in sports management and legal skills with FC Barcelona. Well, in the masters, obviously, I had the opportunity to learn about a lot of things, a lot of sports, a lot of regulation, not just law, but well, I was so decided to do my masters in ISDE because of that, because it was not only law, but sponsorship, football management, sports management in general. So it was a really good idea for me to do this master. And after that, I did an internship in Brazil, in Vichara Mota. I spent there five months, amazing months, and there I started working at FC Barcelona. This position that, as you said, it's kind of a dream, and probably a lot of fans would love to work on a position like mine in their dream club. So yeah, I'm a really privileged guy right now, and yeah, I mostly work with the contractual staff, also FIFA TMS, La Liga manager. That we are working all day, all night with the fair play staff, and kind of helping sporting director and all his staff about the squad plannings. And I would say that this is mostly my job. And yeah, said thank you, Alejandro, and thank you, Isde, for inviting me today.
Thank you, Alex. I remember very well that the moment that I met you, that I knew you, It was from the point when you were working for the circuit here in Barcelona, and then you pass on to FC Barcelona. So it was a very happy moment in your life and for me to know you. And I remember quite well that in your first month or so, it was the Diarra case that it opened up. So in your first month, the transfer system was kind of on fire. So you have a hit start moment. So as I understand, you're like more in a, let's say, the official side of an athlete as a member of a club. So I will pass on then the word to Marc, because he's kind of, in a way, the opposite. Marc works for you first, so it's more involved in the marketing side of a player, creating a brand, and a lot of other stuff that I don't want to step on Marc. So Marc, your turn. What do you do for a living? What can you say about managing a career of an athlete?
Hi everyone, nice to meet you all, and thank you, Isde, for having us here. Yes, I was graduated at least 9 years ago. I was counting before, and this is my 5th year working at You First. It's a sports agency and marketing agency. And what I do is trying to manage athletes, but not on the sports side, but also on the marketing side and the sponsorship side. So I'm trying to get as many collaborations with brands and sponsorships for the athletes, and also trying to help them with the daily issues that they have or daily commitments, such as going to events, shootings, or whatever they have agreed with every brand, and also trying to help them with some personal issues that they could have. And also, because I try to negotiate the contracts with the brands and this kind of more legal stuff. Yeah, so it's like there are some things that Alejandro and I, we can do some similar things, because we are, all of us, we work with contracts and negotiate contracts, but we are all in different sectors of sports. But it's interesting to know what do we do in our daily days.
Very well, Marc. For everyone watching, we have the chat available for anyone to post any question to these amazing opponents here, Alex and Marc. If you want to get them a little bit in trouble, you are totally allowed to do so. In any case, I remember that Marc, in some way, learned his capacity to lead difficult people, because he was working with Isde when I knew him. He was trying to arrange all of my promotion in our trip in the master in the MSM. So you learn very well how to manage people in difficult times. In any case, Marc, I knew for a fact that you also work in something called player service. What is all this about?
Player service is one of the things that we do in an agency, that it's trying to, as it says the name, it's trying to give service to the player. So it's trying to deliver to the player all the things that you think that it can help them. For example, player service is only for the marketing side, and also for the personal side. For example, player service could mean if you have a contract with a specific brand, you help the player or the athlete to commit with all the obligations that they have. For example, you help them to remind them how or when do they have to post the content to the social media that it's written on the contract, or try to help them if they have to go to an event. Try to help them with all the things that it involves the event, not only going there, but also if they need a driver to go to the event, or if they need some stylist to help them to choose an outfit for the event, or maybe if they want to, I don't know, if they want to travel on vacation. Some of them, they can look for themselves all the travel plan that some of them, they ask you to help them with this. So this is like the player service that you help you help the athletes in all the things that they should need in order to facilitate or make life easier for them.
Very well, very well. I actually liked a lot this topic because as fans, we tend to see a lot of players just like the guys that play in the time of a match, or you can only imagine them training at the club. But the truth is that they are just regular people that live in a city for the rest of the day, have some passions, want to have a good restaurants, good weather, go to the movies or whatever. Actually, I remember quite well. I'm sorry, Alex, that I will speak about the competence, but I remember after the 2014 World Cup that Real Madrid transferred or acquired James Rodriguez, and a lot of news was about that he was a family guy. He actually likes a lot the city of Madrid and so on and so forth. So my question to you, Alex, is in your experience in Barcelona, have you seen that is an important issue for the players or a plus to the players to go to live in Barcelona and all the service that, for example, Marc gives behind the curtains, let's say? Yes, is it important, the city or the player service, to go to Barcelona or even to go outside Barcelona to another clubs?
Yeah, I would say completely. For the players, I would say that it's so important their lives outside the football. You know, outside these 4, 5, 6 hours that they need to spend on the sporting facilities. It's so important for them that they are comfortable with their family, kids, I don't know, parents. So you know, not only with the work of their agency, but in our club, obviously, we also have this kind of player services that they are still working until night because the player can need like a lot of things and a lot of moments that we need to be prepared because we want the player to just be worried on the football thing, so he can enjoy all this moment outside the pitches, you know. So yeah, I would say that this is super important. This kind of style of lifestyle, sorry, that you were saying about James, it's so important, and there are a lot of transfers, I would say, that fail because this non-adaptation of the player to the city, or there are a lot of transfers that they're even not signed because the player doesn't want to live in that city, or he wants to earn even like not more money in one club, but living on another city and earn less money that he can make. So yeah, for a player, it's so important. And here in Barcelona, we have a really beautiful city, so it's kind of a key point for you. You need to compete. I want to talk about any city or club concretely, but I would say that you can compete in this point above a lot of other clubs because you have a really nice city, really nice weather, and you prefer to stay here in Barcelona than not going to any other club. So I would say that this is a really important point. I think that obviously, for example, in the NBA, a lot of teams, I would say, in Miami, Los Angeles, Chicago, for example, they can sign a lot of players from the free agency because a lot of player wants to go to this kind of market, you know, and this kind of city and have a better life there. So yeah, conclusion, I would say that it's so important to take this
And
into account.
and I would say, and I will also say that this work it connects me and you because when there's a new player coming to a new city, for example, if a player comes to Barcelona, the club they help to the player to find an apartment, or they help them to get the visa or whatever if they are from other countries. So in this case, it would be the agency. In my case, I would be the one that would be talking with Alex to try to get all these issues done and help the player to make these things easier for him so he or she does not have to worry about it. And this is one of the issues that with Alex we would be connected. the clubs and the agencies. More. Of course, there are more things that are connected with agencies and the club, but this specific thing too.
Absolutely, Marc. And I will also add that it's important to know and good to know that once we are all working with contract staff and this clause needs to be out, this clause need to be in the contract. There are a lot of people working on a side this about I want my kids going to this school. I want an apartment to this school. So it's so important that the player sees that the transfer is going on, not just on the contractual stuff. Obviously, that it's, I would say, the most important. But there are a lot of things around this that the player, I would say, consider at the same level of signing on the contract itself. So it is so important for me.
And this is also player service that we were talking before.
Of course. Very curious how actually transfer works. Not only the numbers, obviously, is quite important, but in reality, there are a lot of other factors to be taken into account, and the examples are absolutely plenty. Maybe too much. I'm actually thinking right now that you, at some point, maybe you do your work too well, because right now in Inter Miami is like a club of Barcelona football players. At the end, they became a family, so they are all trying to be united again, thanks at some point on the good work that you do. And this kind of issues happens a lot. For example, maybe more than we actually like, but there's recent a case in Colombia with Juanfer Quintero, that he travels actually from Argentina to Colombia to be quite near to his family, because there were some issues to be resolved. I think there's some health issues. So people were saying that how it could be possible that he leaves River Plate, Racing, or whatever to go to Colombian football, having the Argentinian one. But again, players are just regular people that need to be comfortable in each position that they will be. But passing on to other topics, Marc, you said that you work a lot with players, helping them with their own personal brands. I would like to say that how difficult is your job, taking into account that, for example, for Alex, when he renews his contract, he tries to make sure that the player knows that Barcelona itself and all the clubs have their own brands and their own commercial obligations. So how do your work develops in this scenario?
It depends a lot, and this is something that you could learn here in this master in the sports management and legal skills, because when you work for the personal brand of an athlete, you need to have into consideration some things. For example, if the athlete wants to have sponsorships, I mean, at the end, when you have sponsorships, it's because you want to help the athlete to have more visibility and more exposition outside of the field. But you have to take into account if the athlete wants to have this exposure, because maybe the athlete is fine with what is he or she doing, and does not want to be involved with brands. There's something that you have to take into consideration. Then you have to know that if the athlete wants to have brands and wants to work his or her personal image, you have to know how would you work it? Because there are different types of athletes. There are some athletes that they show in social media all the things that they do, not only on the sports field, but also outside. They show you when they are going outside to eat with some friends, or if they're traveling, or if they are listening to music. I mean, this is something that from our side would be easier to work with, because it has like more engagement to the people that is watching the athlete. So, and brands maybe could be more aware of who is this athlete. But on the other side, there are some other athletes that they want to work with their personal brand, with a personal image, but maybe they are not as active as others in social media, and then they only post content regarding trainings, matches, or whatever. And in this case, what you have to do is try to elaborate on a strategic plan of, okay, we are here, you are doing this, but we want to get here. So which is the path that we should follow? And this is something that you need to study and make this plan to try to get the best image for the athlete.
Very nice, very nice. That's the position of you first, or this kind of agencies, and the position of the player. But Alex, in this sense, it all sounds amazing for having brand for all the players. But in what extent do you think that the clubs get in a little bit of trouble if the player is way too active trying to have their brands? Or are you trying to say, no, please try to come with our brands first? Or how does it works in your experience?
Yeah, I would say it's kind of interesting. So I would divide it in two ways, because I think that the first one, and an easy one, it's my job, in a contractual or legal way. I would say that you just need to be worried about some sponsorships that a player can do, that can, first of all, put you on a bad image, first of all. But I think that it's a difficult thing to happen right now, because there are a lot of people working, not just in the club, but obviously in the agency of the player mostly. So this is a difficult thing to happen. But also, I think that you need to protect yourself as a club, and you cannot accept a player doing a sponsorship with some brand, with a t-shirt blue and red, in this case, like, that obviously you can link the image of the player as a Barca player, but Barca is not getting anything of this. So I think it's kind of important to protect yourself in this case. And also, you have this commercial way that I would say that it's important for the club to show brands that you're working with well with them, and that you're trying to have like a lot of players working with them also. If Nike is my sponsor, if I have 18 out of 25 players wearing Nike, that will be a nice thing. But if I have 20 players out of 25 working with another brand, another shoe brand or athlete brand, obviously it's not the best image that we are showing to the world. I would say, no, that because we are not treating well our sponsor, and obviously that we are not trying anything to engage some players to work with us. I think that Barca is a good case in that sense, because we have a lot of communication between some players that have not only in the shoe endorsement, but I would say in car endorsement also, and there are a lot of technology sponsorship that they are not only working with us and signing with us, but they have been working with 5, 6 players of the first team, of the male first team, or the women's first team also. And this is so important for us, because we are showing them that we are working, and the next one that will come, we can show them that we are working, and that we have a path behind, that we are working good with that. So I think that as a conclusion, you can work protecting yourself, but you can also do a lot of good things with the players. And I would say more than ever nowadays, I think that Marc can confirm us, but I think that the players' sponsorship has never been like that much, right? And with the social media and all that stuff, I think that it's a really good thing to be discovering nowadays.
Thank you, Alex. And you made me remember one case talking about protecting your image, which obviously in your position as a club, you're working, you are protecting your image from your own partners, but it can be also at the other side, because in Colombia some years ago there was a very quick sponsorship of América de Cali, which his logo is a devil, and it was sponsored for I don't know how many matches by Playboy. So I can imagine if a player says, "Please, my friend, I cannot wear this shirt," and so on. But in any case, I take your advice or I understood that as the club, you tried first, if a player wants to continue with his with exploiting his professional image, to try to do so with the brands that are already linked to the club. So Marc, I would like to ask you, in a case that a player or a brand try to reach you, and this is the brand that is not the brand that sponsors the club in which the player is actually employed right now, is that already a closed door, or you will try to convince him to go to the brand of the club, and then if not, then go to do the marketing as an athlete and not a player of the club? Or how could it be done, or is a closed door absolutely?
Not a closed door. I mean, when we do the strategy with the marketing strategy with an athlete, we try to get as many brands as possible, but all the brands that we choose for the athlete, I mean, it's all the brands that we choose, they are studied. I mean, we have made an analysis of that brand, because what we try is to get brands that can be aligned with the athlete because of values, or because of what the brand does. Some other reasons, for example, we won't get brands related with alcohol for an athlete because it does not fit with it. So we will try to get the brands that can fit as much as possible for the athlete. And it can be any type of brand, but at the same time, we have to know that it has to be a brand that cannot be forbidden by the club. For example, if we have a technology brand that it's different than the one that is sponsoring the club, in this case, we would go to the club and would say, okay, we've got this offer for this brand, but we want to let you know that we will take it unless you make the same offer, or you put an offer better than the one that we have. But we never, or as an agency, I think that we can never close a deal with a brand that can be a problem or that can make some disgust to the club without telling them. So it's always super important to talk with the club, because at the end, the relation that would affect it won't be the agency and the club. It will the affected with the victim would be the player, because maybe it can cause problems to him or her. So it's super important to have a good communication with the club, to let them know every time that you get a deal with a brand that maybe can cause a problem, or that maybe the club should be aware of what we are doing.
Very nice, very nice. You will try to be everyone happy at the football family or contractual family. You know, and speaking about happiness, something that I like a lot about your work is that we tend to think of having these player services or marketing campaigns or so for professional football players with the big stars, you know, the first team of the men's Barcelona team. But actually, from then to below, there are a lot of players, a lot of brands, and some ideas and some campaigns could also be achieved. In your experience, Marc, what market do you think is growing quite rapidly? For example, how is it going with women's football? Speaking of Barcelona or any other team, how is the market moving these days?
I'd say that and Alex said before the sponsorship in general terms it's increasing a lot because of the social media. Now everyone wants to be on social media and everyone wants to have exposure and visibility, and they can do it with athletes. But in women's, I would say women's sport in general, because in basketball it's happening the same. It's been increasing a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things to do, but if we compare at what we are now, compared with what we were in female football 3, 4, 5 years ago, it has increased a lot. So I think that now people is has more knowledge about female sports, and I think that the things are going into the right way, because now you can see, for example, final of the Champions League being played in the greater stadiums. For example, it was played the 2 years ago, the final of the Champions League final in San Mamés, which is a huge stadium, and before they were not playing that kind of stadiums. So these are little things that are increasing, and also the brands are every time more involved are more in to get involved with female athletes. So yes, it's been increasing a lot if you compare to 2 years ago. But at the same time, I think there are lots of things to do. There are still lots of things to do, but I think that we are going into the right way. But it's going to be something that it will go step by step.
Very nice, very nice. But it's a very bright future. And actually, you're very right, because, for example, in this women's football, I remember an example that actually we studied at ISDE, that the women's football team had actually different sponsors than the men's one. I remember Stanley being one of the women's team and not of the men's one. So Alex, I wanted to ask you something that I am actually thinking that Marc help me out with this. If a player actually have a lot of revenue as exploiting his own personal brand, this kind of benefits Barcelona in the way that the player is happy with his income or her income. So maybe he's not asking that much on a salary and not having much problems in financial fair play or so on. Do you think it's okay for the players to have this great revenue, or do you have any, I don't know, contractual problems out with it?
No, actually, I think that it's kind of the political way that FC Barcelona goes mostly. That obviously that the players can have their own sponsors, and I think that it's a really good thing. First of all, because if the player is getting a lot of exposure because this exposure of playing in Barca, he can have a lot more sponsorship rather than if he's I don't know, playing in some random club in the world. Obviously, he can, if he can have this income to increase like a lot. I think that it's kind of a way that he can also say, yeah, okay, I mean, this club can pay me, I don't know, five, but Barca can pay me 4.5. But yeah, I can have an exposure a lot more high than on the other club, and I can increase my income on the sponsor way. So I don't know if this is happening actually in any player, but I would say that this can be a real thing, and this can happen. So yeah, I think that the club, obviously it's super open that the players can have their own sponsorship. Just obviously we are even more happy if these sponsorships are aligned with our interest, with our, I mean, or even they are our own sponsors also. But yeah, for sure, I mean, this is a thing that the player can exploit himself. So obviously the club cannot say anything bad to the player because of exploring his own particular image. So yeah, I would say that it's even a good thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a win-win situation, because for a player being in Barcelona gives more exposure, and for Barcelona, if a player has more exposure, it's better for it, for the games, for the image. So it's all increasing up and going quite well. Obviously, you need to be a little bit careful with image rights. If there's any Colombian hearing right now, I remember that, for example, in Colombia, I will say this very, very quickly. A player cannot have more than 40% of their contract for image rights rather than for his contractual services, his employment agreement, because otherwise he would be more a model than a football player. But in any case, I see it's a win-win situation. My friends, going to another topic, but more actual or nowadays. Marc, we are very close to the World Cup. Actually, we'll end up in some, I don't know, 20 minutes or half an hour, because we will see the opening of the World Cup. But I wanted to ask you, do you need any kind of preparation for the World Cup? Is there any special campaigns before the World Cup, during or after the World Cup? How does it work? Does it affect in any way? And again, the World Cup has its own sponsor, so how does it work in this kind of days or scenarios?
So I'd say it's what we work in the sports side, in the marketing side. In the sports side is trying to give all the facilities to the athlete, to have good trainings, to have a good rest, to eat good, try to help them and giving them all the things and all the tools that he or she would need to be in the best conditions to go to the World Cup. But this is something that we do every day, not only for the World Cup, but also in all the years of the athlete, trying to get him in the best conditions in health as possible. But on the marketing side, and then when they play the World Cup, what we do is we can only just being with the athlete, trying to accompany them to and cheer them and try to be with him, but only try to and wish the best for the athlete. This is the only thing that we can do in the sports side once they play, and of course talking with them every day. How are you feeling? Are you feeling good? Are you good with the team? Are you feeling good playing? Whatever. This is on the sports side, but on the marketing side, what we try to do is trying to get as many as it's a year that the World Cup is seen for the whole world. And what we try to do is try to get collaborations or sponsorship with the brands that are sponsoring the World Cup, because that would mean that your player would have more visibility and having visibility in the most important football event in the world. If not, no problem, but we can look for another brands that maybe are not sponsoring the World Cup, but we can try to think about some content strategies that can be like more focused for the World Cup.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Also, I think that at some point you can see a lot of stakeholders more as an allies than ever, because, for example, if national federations, Spanish, there's the Colombian or whatever, they also have their own sponsors. There are sponsors everywhere, so you can pick a lot of opportunities in a lot of areas. I'm guessing that this World Cup in particular is great. It's a great opportunity, because you have sponsors in the US, Mexico, and Canada. You have sponsors in Spain. They can also be different. You can have sponsors worldwide. But you have also a lot of work, because, for example, in this one in particular, the visa procedures, as long as I know, or the media says, it has been quite difficult. So speaking about difficult things, if Marc you want to say anything, you can also say. All right, let's start with Marc. Do you want to say something? Sorry.
Yes, I just only wanted to add that when we look for brands, I mean, we can also have a list of the brands that we want to have for the athletes, but then it will depend on the brands if they are interested in the athlete or not, because maybe they are not interested in Spanish footballer because the market that they want to reach is maybe in Italy or I don't know, Curacao or whatever. So there is something that maybe you have this list of the brands and you contact them, but at the end they will decide if the player that you propose them it fits or not. It was only the thing that I wanted to say.
Oh, amazing, amazing. And this is applies perfectly, for example, for Barcelona. I see in the last days that, for example, Barcelona has some sponsors in a financial area here in Barcelona. I want to say the brand, but I think I'm going to be mistaken. So you have a sponsor here in Barcelona or in Catalonia or in Spain, but in the recent days you have also signed another one in the Middle East. So again, there's a lot of opportunities. But Alex, I wanted to ask you something different, and it is that in my experience, the World Cup, depending on the club, is the best thing ever or the worst thing ever, or maybe sometimes something in between. How have you felt the preparation of, not if you don't want them to speak Barcelona, but generally, how do clubs prepare themselves for the World Cup before, during, and after?
Yeah, I would say that there is not like a big difference if it's during or after, because I would say that the main work is done before the World Cup, because um I would say that as a club in a more administrative um, point of view, you just need to work alongside FIFA. For example, I would say two really important things for us. I would say to register yourself as a club in the FIFA program, that you can learn about it on the masters, because it is a really interesting thing that FIFA has made. And the first time actually that I heard about this FIFA program, about the players that are going to some international competitions, was on my masters in ISDE. So you need to register here, and I think that FIFA established this year that they are going to pay you $5,000, if I'm not wrong, for every player that stays every day in the World Cup. So this can be a lot of money for a club like Barca, that we are giving, I don't know, 14, 15 players, I think, or even, I don't know, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Manchester City. They can win a lot of money because of that. And obviously it is important to be increasing your your money in the club because of something like that. So you cannot lose the opportunity because you didn't remember to register yourself in this thing, no? And also, super important, but this can happen also with the FIFA matches that are played like in September, October, and March. That once a player is injured on an international match, obviously you can enter this another FIFA program about injuries, that they are kind of paying you the salary of the player. So they are kind of covering costs because of an injury that happened during a FIFA match. This is kind of a really contractual, no, I'm not contractual, sorry, but legal thing that FIFA is going to have to talk about, because obviously the clubs are the one paying the salary, but that all the players are mandatory to play with their own national team. So kind of heavy, this type of thing. It's FIFA trying to put, like this thing when you get hurt, and try to calm all the big all the big clubs, sorry. And but yeah, I think it's important for you as a club that you can register yourself in those things, and that you don't forget about that. So it's, I would say, from an administrative way, the most important thing. And also, obviously, you need to be aware of the market. You already know all the players playing in the World Cup for sure, but I would say that all we all know that a lot of players have been increasing their value because of a World Cup. You are Colombian, you already know that Monaco sold James for, if I'm not wrong, 80 million in 2014 after a really great World Cup. So I think that it's from a sporting perspective, I would say that it is also super important.
Thank you, Alex, because you remember me another thing that this week on Monday it was the final of the Colombian Football League, and one player of the finalists, it was Atlético Nacional, is in the World Cup. Apparently, he's not going to play, so a lot of fans were saying that why are we giving away our player that is not playing the final to not play the World Cup? But at least they will have some income out of it. And you also touched a point very interesting about transfer agreements before or after the World Cup. The case of Monaco is an excellent example of how to sell clubs before a World Cup. But I'm guessing, in your experience, there are also renewals and transfer agreements that are closed before the World Cup, trying to not expect that increase of value, or is it not that common?
So I would say that we can divide this summer like 2 weeks before the World Cup and just really after the World Cup ends, because I mean the sporting directors and the technical staff that is working, like the scouting department, for example, they're working during all the season, but it's mainly, I would say, in May that everything starts and you just finish your league. The Champions League is ending, so it's so important for you as a club to start seeing where you can go, which opportunities of players you can have. So I think that it's so important to start during May. We, for example, signed Anthony Gordon because the coach and the sporting director seems to have like a really devotion for this player. So it was so important for us to close this deal, and the player goes to the World Cup and everything is signed and everything is done with his club. So during the World Cup, I mean, I'm speaking about really great players that are coming to Barcelona and that are playing a World Cup, So they want to be focused on the World Cup. They don't want to be focused if they are going to a club or to another. They are leaving this aside, and they are getting really focused on the World Cup. And once they are kicked out or they win the World Cup, they are getting full on to get a new contract or to sign with another club. So I would say that we can divide this summer on a really 2-3 weeks in May that were like super stressed, and just after the World Cup we are going to have another time these stressful weeks because of new signings and new things that you have been working all the season, but you just have this time to register the players. So obviously it's the time to close the deals.
Yes, it's quite important to be cautious, and I don't want to overspeak, because I remember also the case, which World Cup was it? I think it was South Africa, in which Barcelona hired or closed the deal of Luis Suarez, and within the World Cup he was sanctioned because of this bid. So Barcelona actually transferred a player which he will not know that he was going to be sanctioned. So there are a lot of dangers and a lot of stuff going on for transfer agreements. Marc, I wanted to pass on to another topic, which is, I don't know if I'm mistaken, but I have heard these rumors all my life that since the World Cup is kind of the ecstasies or the most thing in football, the day after the World Cup is quite difficult for brands, for leagues, for clubs to gain again the attention of fans. So in your experience, do you think that what is your work after the World Cup with the players? Is it more again trying to have these commercial campaigns, or is more player service, or what do you do after the World Cup?
After the World Cup, what we do is with the players that we have a contract with the brands, we have an annual plan where it's based on the things that we are going to do. I mean, there are some things that could change or not, but you know that more or less you would do this on January, and on May you would do this, and in September and October you would do this and this. So these are some things that are planned, and you can adapt. It will depend if something happens, that something under our control can happen. But if not, you have more or less a plan that you have to follow. And from our side, for the players, what they have to do is to do what the contract say. So it maybe the brand, and it will depend on the strategy of the brand, because maybe the brand having a strategy for the World Cup, and they want to do a campaign to show a new product or whatever. But if but it happens that if the brand it's not involved with the World Cup, they don't follow, or they don't try to get a content or a campaign based in the World Cup. I mean, we are working with some brands that are not World Cup sponsors, and we have to post content these days, and they are not about the World Cup, but it's maybe they are promoting some product or whatever. But the thing is that once it starts the World Cup, the player does not want to post anything except World Cup content. I mean, they only would like to play. They will only would like to post content related with the football match or training or whatever. Because if they post something or content, branded content, they can think, or the fans can think, that they are not fully committed with the team, with the national team, and they are also thinking about the brands and the money or whatever. So they only focus on being playing on the World Cup, and they try to post anything regarding brands or whatever. It's like something that as an agency, and maybe Alex from the club will know too, because I suppose that it will happen to him too, that once the World Cup starts, the world stops, and it's only football, and no one can bother to the players.
I know it stops so on that we will end up in some minutes to see the open ceremony. And for everyone, I'm already receiving a couple of questions via WhatsApp from some of friends of you guys, Marc and Alex. But we'll pass on in a minute. If anyone wants to write on any question in the chat, it's open up. Alex, thinking about again after the World Cup, is some special treatment, or how do you deal with players thinking about days on vacation, pre-season trainings? Because the next season of La Liga is about to start. So how can you deal with that?
Yes, so it's an interesting question. I think that has been some months, I would say, from October more or less, that we can start planning, the pre-season of the team, where we are going to do the pre-season, what matches we can play, and this has been probably the worst summer to plan a thing like ever, because we don't know even now when La Liga is going to start. So this is super difficult. We have like a lot of people that are working and searching for matches, searching for some places to do the pre-season, like for a week or 2 weeks, and to prepare the footballers. It's impossible to know which players of yours are going to reach the quarterfinals or the semifinals, or they're kicked out on the group stage, and this is so difficult for us actually, because you need obviously to see the law. The players needs to rest continuing 21 days here in Spain. So there can be some cases that if for example, if Spain reaches the final of the World Cup, that we are giving them 8-9 players, I would say. We cannot have these 8-9 players for 21 days. So they can have probably 3-4 days with us before the first time of the first match. Sorry, of the next season. So it has been like super difficult, and we are also planning this kind of per-season campus, but we really don't know how many players. No, we have this space of probably 10 to 12 players that we don't know if they are going to return in the middle of July or in the first July. So it will. I mean, it has been super difficult for the club to plan everything, and obviously just the return of the players with those days that they need to rest. I mean, obviously it's not only by law, but they have to rest because of the mental fatigue and the physical fatigue also. So it's so difficult to prepare, not just in commercial and sports and sponsor or logistic terms, but also in sporting terms. Has been so difficult, but as Marc was saying, I mean, when the World Cup is going on, the world stops, and this is the most important thing for the football world. So we cannot do any other thing that continue working and having plan A, B, C, D, and E, because if not, it's impossible working with that.
I'm sorry to be emphatic on this, but yeah, as you said, the labor law still applies to them. They have the same days of vacation as you and me, you know, as regular employees. You know, Marc, I have received a question from a good friend of mine, which is a lawyer, but he wants to have a better life outside of law, and he's asking me if, as a lawyer, he's chained to be a sport lawyer, or do you think as a lawyer you can work in other types of works in the sports industry, such as yours?
I would say that I don't know if it's a better life working in an agency because it's you have to be connected 24/7. But I would say that I studied law too, and I was working before starting this job. I was working in a criminal law firm, and then I quit the job and I changed the job, and I got here after doing the masters. But I would say that having the knowledge as a lawyer is good because you can work in the law side and in the marketing side, and it also you can be like when you are negotiating the contracts with the brands, for example, as a lawyer, you will understand, or maybe you will make the best good interpretations of the contract, and this is something that you can do by yourself, and you don't need. I mean, of course, you will also need the legal team of the agency to review everything, but maybe you can make the first filter of it. And I would say that it helped me a lot because it's like you are doing like a 50% of your work, of your time. It's as a lawyer reviewing contracts and drafting whatever it needs to be drafted. But at the other 50%, it would be like doing more like marketing side or public relations, because you have to go to events and meet and try to get some new clients, or maybe I'm trying to get some new network. So it is good, but at the same time, you have to be connected 24/7. So you know that you have to sacrifice lots of things, but as in every job, you have to sacrifice. So, but yes, I mean, in my case, I did it, and I'm happy of taking that decision. And if someone feels that law is that he or she does not want to be 100% lawyer working in a law criminal field and wants to combine law and sports, I would say that it's a good decision.
Thank you, because I absolutely share your view. Honestly, in my experience, when I work with publicists or marketing guys, it's actually more of my best days. At some points, rather than I'm fighting with another lawyer or working for a transfer agreement or a commercial agreement or arbitration or whatever. And Alex, you know,
Alejandro, I'm sorry. I had
yes,
one boss in a place that I was working for 4 years ago that he told me once the the enemy of the lawyer of the club is the marketing guy because he's trying always to do a lot of things to we can do these footage with this guy with this little boy with blah blah blah. So the legal guy is kind of getting super stressed with that, and I think that as Marc was saying, if he has this law behind him, I think that it's a really good thing. So I think that it is not only a possibility, but this is a really nice thing. The marketing people is drafting and it's reviewing all day, all night. So a lot of contracts. So I think that this sentence that was kind of joking my boss here, but he was kind of defining the relationship that the marketing guys have with the lawyers of the club or even an agency. So I think that it's really good path to go in.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. And I have seen it as well. I share with you. You know, Alex, but for the other guys that do like laws and their decision to be a lawyers, I remember when I first discovered that sports law existed, and back in the day, there was this discussion if sports law is like a branch of law itself, as it is civil law, labor law, commercial, criminal. Would you say that in your experience you are a sports lawyer, or what would you recommend it's the best skills that a lawyer needs in labor law, in commercial law, or you need to be good at everything? How is your experience in this regard?
Yeah, I would say that right now I'm 26, so I can say that I'm kind of the new generation, no? A lot of colleagues of mine in the masters, I think that we can define ourselves as a sports lawyer, not as a lawyer that works in sport, but a sports lawyer. I think that this is a difference that a lot of people above 45-year-old cannot say because they started working with civil law, with I don't know, with criminal law, so like Marc, but I think that we as a new generation, we had the opportunity to study uh, some little courses, to have this type of webinars, to learn, to have these really good masters, for example, as is the one, and starting this sporting networking, this sports world networking, really young. So I think that I can define myself as a sports lawyer. And I think that inside the sports law, you can have a lot of types of lawyers, So a good friend of ours, Alejandro, is defining himself as a sports lawyer, but he's a sports lawyer more defined on a jurisdictional and kind of a um, demanding things on tasks, for example. But I would hate to go to tasks and to define myself as a lawyer in this matter. But I also have a really good friend that he's working with tax law, but mainly for sports athletes. So inside the sports law, we can have like a lot of paths. The sports world is so big, and we can have a lot of type of lawyers. We can also have some lawyers just specialized in sponsorships and in I would say in image rights. So for example, myself, I would define more as a regulation and registration lawyer, because I'm more used to work with the FIFA TMS, with the application of UEFA, La Liga, more working in the financial fair play thing. But I think that there's a lot of possibilities inside the sports law. So you can be the best in everything, but I think that working in the thing that you like, but especially in the sports world, I think that it's the key thing of this, and it's the good thing of trying to enter this career, like doing the masters in ISDE, for example.
I agree, and I have seen it both in my work in Colombia or here, that even though that I'm a sports lawyer, I work a lot with the tax lawyers guy, the commercial one, the marketing, immigration. Even though that we, for example, do work a lot of, I don't know, disciplinary proceedings or registration, as you said. So, my friends, for closing up, again, thank you very much for letting me lead this conversation with you guys. I have joined it before the conversation in other scenarios, in a restaurants or a bars with some drinks, and even here, and I will do so afterwards. I don't want to miss the opportunity to say a very big hug and my greetings to our dear friend, my personal friend, and your personal friend, Montse Pintó, director of ISDE in Barcelona. We have still very fresh the passing of his brother and my boss, Jose Juan Pintó, and also one of the founders of this house, ISDE. So a big hug to her, and above anything, thanks to you guys for this pleasant conversation. And see you again very soon.
It's our pleasure to be here. Thank you, Alejandro. We met years ago, so you are the best one to do it. So thank you, ISDE, for having us here. It's such a great experience. I think that we all three feel ISDE like home. We would recommend to everyone to do the masters here, whatever master it is. But in this case, the sports management one is the one that we enjoy the most, and I'm so happy to be here again with all of you. Hope you didn't get bored. So anything you need, just let us know.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with everything that Marc said. Thanks to ISDE, thanks to Marc. Really amazing to have this conversation with you and to know you. Alejandro, I mean, we already know us for some years right now, and I think that this is kind of the great things of the sports world, that it's not so big, so you can be friends with a lot of good colleagues in the sports world. So I think that it's a really good thing, and thank you for moderating this, and thank you also to Paul and to Monse for sure. And yeah, I think that as you were saying, Ota will be so happy to see 3 years of having this webinar for you. So yeah, thank you to all.